All right, so we live in Florida, and Florida can be hit by a hurricane from three sides. So here in Central Florida, I don't have to worry about a storm surge, or I don't live in a flood zone. So the preparation that I'm making is mainly for something that would affect me, my family, and my pet, my neighbors, and so on. And that would be an extended period of time of a power outage. Now, when we prepare and we get ready in those 3 days before a hurricane, we go and buy some water bottles, we buy some batteries, and we buy other things that we will need, candles and propane for our barbecues and so on. But what happens when all of that runs out? You still need water, and you can only live a couple of days without water, drinking water, and you still need to prepare your food. And you can live maybe 10 days to 14 days without food, depending on your health. So let's talk about water first. So you've exhausted all your water supply that you bought in bottles and you have in water tanks. Now what happens? How do you get water? You still need water. So one of the things that I'm preparing for is having to get water from a source other than our city supply. For example, you see this here is a simple plastic ammo box that you buy at, this one I bought at Walmart, and it cost almost $5, a little bit less than $5. And it's nice and small, and it's handy, and you can use it for many, many things other than ammo, believe me. They're stackable, and they're a size that you can easily handle, and like I said before, you can put many different things in there. So one of the things that I did was, in preparing for filtering water, is I went to an aquarium supply and I bought aquarium filter supplies. Now, for example, this is the foam that you buy at a supply store, aquarium supply, and that could be Walmart, Target, or one of the pet stores. And what I did was I took the ammo box and I put a layer at the bottom, and then I bought some activated carbon. And this is the kind I bought. There's all kinds. There's larger bags, there's smaller bags. And I put one of these bottles of activated carbon over that layer of foam. That's going to, the activated carbon is going to make the water as clear as possible. That's how you see that water clear in the aquariums. Well, one thing that I noticed is that you should buy 2 of these instead of 1. For these purposes, I only put 1 layer. On top of that layer of carbon, I laid a layer of foam again, and then on top of that layer of foam, I had some white sand, aquarium sand, and it looks something like this. And on top of that layer of sand, I put another layer of foam. So what happens is that when you pour the water on top, it goes through a layer of foam, and that will keep out or trap a lot of the sediment or particles that are in the water. Then it goes through the layer of sand, and that's going to trap the smaller parts and bacteria that pass through the foam layer. And now you go through another layer of foam, and then you get to the carbon, and the carbon will absorb a lot of the bacteria and bad stuff that's in the water. Not all of it, but it will do very good. Once the water goes through the filtering material, what I did was I made a little hole over here. and I put one of these elbow spigots so that the water can come out. And this kind, you can put a little rubber hose and you can direct the water to wherever you want to collect the clean water. One thing that I noticed about this kind of filter, it will filter the water. It won't purify it. And if you collect water from a source where there's a lot of tannin, that's that brown looking coloring to the water like tea. You can still see through it, but it has a brownish color. That's the tannin from the leaves that falls in a river or a pond, and it releases that tannin into the water. It makes it brown. I'm not talking about murky, muddy water. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the tannin in the water that gives it a brown coloring. This filter will not get rid of that. However, it'll get rid of a lot of the stuff that's floating in the water. So once you collect the water sample, you may want to run it a few times. And once you do that, you still have to purify the water. And you do that by boiling the water, or you can use some bleach, like Clorox, for example. Everybody has a bottle of bleach somewhere. If not, get one. And you put, there's a formula for purifying the water. Like, for example, for 1 quart of water, you put in 4 drops of bleach. You shake it, you let it stand for maybe 20 minutes, and then that water will be safe to consume. The other way is by buying the purification tablets at a camping store or Walmart, for example, and it has the chlorine tablets or iodine tablets, and then it has another bottle that removes that flavor once the water is purified, if the flavor is not attractive to you. So remember, no matter how many times you filter it, you still have to purify the water.